Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're going to review another superhero game. So I've reviewed Flying Hero VR, Powers VR, Ultimate Wall Defense Force VR, and today we're going to take a look at Superfly VR, a game where you can be a superhero in virtual reality. It's available for all the major headsets. It released October 8th, 2020 by developer Locomotion Devs. It's in early access. It normally retails for $14.99. I actually got this through Viveport Infinity, and I tested this game out on both the Oculus Quest 2 using the Oculus Link cable, and also on Windows Mixed Reality. This game is running on the Unity engine, and there's actually 3 different graphical settings. There's optimized, standard, and cel shaded. I tried optimized just because I did not like the cel shaded graphics. I thought the optimized actually looked the best out of the 3 choices. So this game is described as an open world type game, a sandbox type superhero game, and there just really isn't a lot of content within that sandbox or open world. There really isn't. And the map here looks eerily similar to the other superhero games I have reviewed recently, Powers VR or even Flying Hero VR. This map looks very similar to Powers VR. There are differences, obviously. They're not the same, but there's similarities between all 3 of them, especially between this one and Powers VR. It really makes it seem like these developers are just using some of the same assets from the Unity asset store, honestly. So in this game, you can choose one of 6 different heroes, and you're seeing one here, which is kind of like the Silver Surfer, where you can use your ice ability to glide around town, and that's fun for a bit. And then you get into the attack where you materialize these icicles in your hands and you lob them at enemies, and here it just feels very underwhelming. The animation is pretty poor. It kind of looks like you're throwing like a wet noodle at your enemies. They still go down, but it's just not very immersive or fun. You definitely do not feel like a superhero just lobbing these icicles at enemies. Just isn't very fun. You also have like a lightning superhero, and that was one of my favorite superheroes. You basically have this lightning attack, and that one is pretty strong and has a big range, and you can take down lots of enemies with it. It's probably one of the more fun abilities that you have. And then you have this strange locomotion method that does take a while to get used to. Basically, you kind of just pull yourself forward, and you can actually jump in this game. You can physically jump, or you can just crouch down and stand up, and you'll jump in this game. And when you have this hero, you actually jump farther than normal. So the locomotion does take a while to get used to with this hero, but it's probably one of the more fun locomotion methods once you figure it out, along with a very strong lightning attack where you can just basically kill lots of enemies. Anyone that's near you is going to get fried very quickly. You also have a fire-based superhero, and the fire hero probably has the best locomotion method. You have fire thrusters coming out of your hand that you can use to fly around the city, and you can also use it to attack enemies near you. You also have a secondary attack where you can shoot missiles at enemies. However, I found out that if you use that too much, you will make the frame rates of your game drop as those missiles start exploding, and this game will have trouble with the frame rates once you do that, so beware of that. You also have this Spider-Man wannabe clone that's not very good. I mean, it is fun to web sling around the city, obviously, but the attack for that Spider-Man is very weak. Basically, it has this uncontrollable web splat that you can just sticky around your environment. And basically the only use I found for it is that you can stick cars to that, and I show that towards the end of this video. It is fun to do a little bit of mayhem with that, but just the hero overall is underpowered, and really the only fun in using the spider based superhero, the web sling superhero, is just using the web sling ability that, it's like a grappling hook where you just grapple around the city. That's been done to death in VR. The mechanic here is okay. I definitely played better web slingers in VR, but this one's competent at least. Then you have probably the weakest hero, which is the flying superhero. Basically, you have these angel wings, and you can flap your wings and just fly towards your gaze, I suppose. And you have this very weak attack where you can basically, I guess, throw these quills at enemies. The problem is they miss a lot, so you're not going to do a lot of damage with that. It's just an underpowered hero. Overall, the only reason to choose that hero is if you like flapping your wings to fly around the city. Finally, you have probably the coolest hero, which is based on a villain, Doc Ock, Dr. Octopus. So basically you have these metal arms coming out of you, and you can use them to attack or move around. It's actually pretty fun just to climb up like a building or come out of the water with those things and seeing all the damage you can do. And the fun thing about Doc Ock is that you can actually do damage to several things that you can't with other superheroes. So one of the reasons to have a superhero VR game is to live that superhero fantasy in VR. I know I've said this before, but I want to be Homelander in VR. I want to be able to go around the city, cause a lot of mayhem, see people running around in terror as I use my superhero powers, and just see them quake in fear. In this game, you can do a little bit of mayhem, but not the amount that I would like personally in a superhero game. As you see here, I can use the web sling ability or the secondary attack to cause vehicles to get stuck. But you'll see later on where I use the missile attack from the fire hero, and I can't even bring down a trash can no matter how many times I hit it. Now, the main problem with this game is that there's not a lot of content. So you have these encounters, which are just randomly spread out through the city where you'll see enemies and you can attack them. That's the combat in this game. And the only other activity is the time trials that are randomly spread out through the city. And those time trials are just flying through hoops as fast as you can using the different superhero abilities. I would estimate you can do probably every activity in this game in about 30 minutes, so there really isn't a lot of content. So this game is mostly just testing out your superhero abilities around town, and after that you're left with just repeating that activity. There's also issues with locomotion. You have arm swing locomotion here that's just not very good. I had troubles randomly turning on Windows Mixed Reality when I didn't want to turn. There's only snap turn available on Windows Mixed Reality. On the Oculus Quest 2, there was no turning available at all. And there were also optimization issues, like I mentioned earlier. I had frame rate drops using some of the superhero abilities, and just overall it just wasn't running very good. It is on the Unity engine, so I just can't recommend this game. If I have to rate it, I would give it a 4.5 out of 10. It is in early access. It has the possibility to get better in the future, but right now you're paying $14.99 based on a promise, and right now it just feels more like a demo than anything else, so I just don't recommend it. I'm Fast Lawyer. If you liked my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.